Throughout history, warfare has evolved dramatically, yet certain principles have remained surprisingly constant. From ancient battles to modern conflicts, military leaders have grappled with three eternal challenges: how to move their forces, how to supply them, and how to achieve victory with minimal losses. Let's examine three pivotal military campaigns that changed the course of history: Alexander the Great's conquest of Persia, Napoleon's invasion of Russia, and Germany's Blitzkrieg during World War II. Each represents a different era of warfare, yet their similarities and differences tell us much about the evolution of military strategy. Join us as we delve into the intricacies of these campaigns and uncover the timeless principles that continue to shape military strategy. Alexander's campaign in 334 BCE represented ancient warfare at its peak. His army of 50,000 men moved at an average speed of 20 miles per day, remarkably fast for the ancient world. The key to his success was logistics. Alexander's army traveled light, with each soldier carrying their own supplies and local communities providing additional resources. This allowed his forces to move quickly and strike decisively. The Macedonian army's primary weapon was the sarissa, a long pike that could reach up to 18 feet in length. When formed into the famous Phalanx formation, these weapons created an impenetrable wall of spears. However, the Phalanx had one critical weakness: it could only move forward effectively. Once engaged, it struggled to change direction or respond to attacks from the sides or rear. Fast forward 2 millennia to Napoleon's invasion of Russia in 1812. The scale was dramatically different. Napoleon's Grande Armée numbered 685,000 men, the largest European army ever assembled until that point. However, Napoleon faced the same logistical challenges as Alexander. His army required 1,000 tons of supplies daily just to feed the men and horses. Napoleon's initial advance averaged 15 miles per day, slower than Alexander's army despite 2,000 years of technological progress. The reason? The larger army size created exponentially greater logistical challenges. The Russian strategy of scorched earth and continuous retreat proved devastating. By deliberately destroying resources and refusing to engage in a decisive battle, the Russians forced Napoleon to advance deeper into hostile territory with increasingly stretched supply lines. When the Grande Armée finally reached Moscow, it had lost half its strength without fighting a major battle. Then we have the German Blitzkrieg of 1939-1941, which represented a revolutionary approach to warfare. The key innovation wasn't technology. It was the combination of existing elements into a new tactical doctrine. The Germans coordinated tanks, aircraft, and motorized infantry to create breakthrough points that could be rapidly exploited. A German panzer division in 1940 could advance up to 60 miles per day, 3 times faster than Alexander's army and 4 times faster than Napoleon's forces. This speed created operational opportunities that would have been impossible in previous eras. The German forces could literally advance faster than their opponents could react, creating chaos and confusion in enemy ranks. But the similarities between these campaigns are as striking as their differences. All three relied on the principle of concentration of force, bringing overwhelming power to bear at critical points. Alexander used his CompanionCavalry to exploit gaps created by his Phalanx. Napoleon concentrated artillery to shatter enemy formations. The Germans used tanks and dive bombers to create breakthrough points. All three also demonstrated the eternal truth that logistics determines strategic possibilities. Alexander's army moved light and lived off the land. Napoleon's army collapsed when it outran its supply lines. The German Blitzkrieg, despite its speed, was ultimately limited by the need to supply fast-moving mechanized forces with fuel and spare parts. The role of technology in these campaigns is particularly interesting. While technological advances changed the speed and scale of warfare, they didn't fundamentally alter its basic principles. Alexander's cavalry could exploit a breakthrough just as effectively as German tanks, just at a different speed and scale. Communication represents another fascinating parallel. Alexander used signal flags and mounted messengers. Napoleon had a more sophisticated system of written orders and dispatch riders. The Germans used radio communication, yet all three faced the fundamental challenge of coordinating large forces across vast distances. The human element remained constant across all three campaigns. Soldiers still had to be fed, rested, and motivated. Leaders still had to make decisions based on incomplete information. Morale still played a crucial role in determining victory or defeat. Weather and terrain affected all three campaigns significantly. Alexander had to time his movements around the seasons and mountain passes. Napoleon's army was destroyed by the Russian winter. The German Blitzkrieg bogged down in the mud of the Russian spring and the snow of winter. Perhaps the most important similarity is that all three campaigns demonstrated both the possibilities and limitations of their respective eras of warfare. Alexander showed how far an ancient army could advance with proper logistics. Napoleon demonstrated both the power and vulnerabilities of mass armies. The Blitzkrieg revealed both the potential and limitations of mechanized warfare. Modern warfare has evolved even further with the advent of precision weapons, cyber warfare, and unmanned systems. Yet the fundamental principles demonstrated in these historical campaigns remain relevant. The need to move, supply, and concentrate forces still determines military success. The human element still matters, and logistics still determines what is strategically possible. The lesson for modern military planners is clear. While technology changes the methods of warfare, the basic principles remain remarkably consistent. Understanding these historical parallels helps us better comprehend both the possibilities and limitations of modern military power.